What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we are going to be showcasing the fastest ways to increase your faction rep in Destiny 2. And so, let's get started. Firstly, we have an actual loot cave, essentially, but for faction tokens. This is going to allow you to farm by yourself with no interference of enemies, a ton of faction rep extremely quickly. Now, what you need to do for this is head down to IO, where the flashpoint this week is being held. To the Rupture area, you're going to fast travel to the very first area right by Asher Mir, the NPC who's going to give you the weapons and armor in exchange for IO tokens. And once you've landed just a little ways away from Asher Mir, as you can see here, you will find a lost sector. Now head into this lost sector because, as many of you know, lost sectors are now a new way to gain faction tokens, because lost sectors now have enemy supply caches in them. Destroying these supply caches will gain you one faction token to whatever faction you are aligned to. So head into this cave, and as you can see, once you get into the actual area of the lost sector, you can see 3 different caches from this viewpoint. So you can very easily, with a scout rifle, or in fact the best weapons to use involve explosive rounds, even a hand cannon with explosive rounds. Heck, I was using the Sunshot exotic hand cannon, can kill these in 2 shots. But I digress. Once you kill all 3, you're gonna wanna turn around, head right back out of the cave. Now as you're heading out, as soon as you see on the bottom of your screen the text appear, the Rupture. So as soon as you're into that next area and you see the Rupture appear, turn around again, 180 back into the cave. What that's going to do is essentially reset the map. It's going to put you into a different instance of the game where you're going into the Rupture, which is a public area, and then turning right back around is going to put you back into a different instance of the lost sector. And as you can see, the caches respawn. So you can just kill these 3 caches, get 3 tokens basically instantly, turn around, walk for 20-30 seconds there and back, and kill them again. And you can keep doing that as much as you want. Ads will start to shoot at you if you take a really long time to kill them, but again, if you're just using a scout rifle, you can kill all 3 extremely fast, turn right back around, come back, and this is the loot cave for faction tokens. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you think that's going to be boring, or if Bungie patches this and you can no longer do this, well, there's some more ways to gain faction tokens extremely fast. Definitely the main way is to do public events. If you complete a public event, you're going to get 4 faction tokens for you and all of your teammates. If you complete a heroic public event, you're going to get 8, which is actually a lot. If it wasn't for this loot cave, public events would definitely be the #1 way to get faction tokens. So, get a team together, absolutely get a team together, even if you've got to invite random blue players that are around you. But once you have a 3-man fire team, you can start doing public events very, very quickly. And although that loot cave we already showed is by far the fastest and easiest way to get faction tokens, farming public events is also going to give you tokens for that planet to get even more weapons and armor, and it's also just going to give you loot and a chance for exotic engrams. So overall, in the grand scheme of things, if you're interested in more than just factions, you may be better off farming public events, especially if you do have a fire team with you. But again, heroic gives you so much more, so make sure you're activating heroic public events whenever you can. Additionally, there's a little bit of a trick you can use to potentially hit the same public event twice. If you're alone, this works a lot better, but you can do it if you time everything properly with your team and all travel at the exact same time. So if you're at a public event that's right near a travel point, the best example I have right now is Exodus Black. If you're have that public event that's right in Exodus Black. So if you travel there, you walk 10 feet and you're already at the public event. What you can do is complete the public event with your team very quickly. Everyone travels back to Exodus Black as soon as they're done looting the public event, and there is a chance that you can hit up another public event while it's still happening. If other players are doing it but they're slower than your team, if you load into that instance, it will be up, they'll be doing it, but they'll still have some time on the clock. So you can go help them and do that public event again. Have essentially a 2-for-1 chance to get loot from the same public event. Also, one more thing, there's actually been an entirely new public event-like activity added into the game space. It's the securing supplies activity. So you're going to see a bunch of different objectives marked by the same marker that's used to denote public events, which sometimes can make finding the actual public event in a space somewhat annoying, but in any event, you can simply stand in these areas and capture them. There are going to be enemies that spawn and try to kill you, but as long as you stay on top of them with a power weapon usually, because the enemies actually drop power ammo most of the time, you can capture these zones, and capturing these zones will give you 1 single token. This actually takes forever. Doing this by yourself is a horrible way to gain faction rep, and I recommend you just don't do them. But if you're with a fire team and 3 people can capture 3 of these zones at the same time, it suddenly becomes a lot more doable. So if that's the case, you can capture 3 zones and then move to the last zone. That becomes a lot more efficient because each zone, again, gives you 1 token, but completing all 4 zones gives you 4 tokens for a total of 8. So again, it becomes a little bit more efficient if you can do it fast. And so guys, there you have it. Not only a special loot cave to gain you as much rep as possible, but the farming methods and a bunch of tips for increasing your loot and faction reputation specifically for as much as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.